Hey, Viola Rules here, and welcome back to Bravely Second in Lair. So let's continue and go and touch the portrait.
You do take your time. You have read your father's words, I trust?
Yes, we did.
Very well. I shall share with you the third truth. This is the story, the true untold story, of the Great Plague. The first deaths were in the eastern reaches of Eternia, in a sleepy border village. The mourners grieved for their loved ones, their wails echoing through the mountains. Eventually, the cries faded away, and a stillness settled over the land. From the depths of time it had found us. The world we feared most had become reality.
It was a lot like the graveyard where we picked up Magnolia.
As death lay heavy on the land, a young priest named Brave petitioned his elders. He sought to use the power of the crystals to treat the sick, but his petition was denied. Instead, the church sealed off the high roads. It cut off the border villages, leaving countless people to suffer and die. Angered at the church for forsaking the village of his birth, Brave resigned from the priesthood. He did not, however, abandon his duty. First, he saw to it that his friend Norzen of the Office of Medicine was given full authority to investigate the origins of the plague. He planted Confederates in key positions, building a network that would allow him to monitor the inner workings of the church.
Okay.
In time, the plague released its grip on the world, though not because a cure had been found. It simply had no more victims to claim. Until, that is, the coming of the second pandemic. A second wave of terror swept over the world. A new strain of the plague emerged, threatening to complete the extinction begun by the first. Thus began a long battle which pitted Norzen and his researchers against the deadliest disease the realm had ever known.
So that's what Norzen was talking about in the first timeline, saying that he could have done more to save people, and he felt like he didn't do enough.
Their work was relentless. Many researchers and their families sacrificed their lives to the cause.
Yeah,
Unwilling
Manette's
to
mother.
put his men at risk, Norzen took to testing new treatments on his own body, losing one of his 5 senses in the process. Then, just before she herself succumbed, one researcher discovered a feline immunity that promised to neutralize the disease. She was able to transfer the antibodies to her daughter, a young girl named Manette.
Yeah, I was sad to learn about that.
So it was that a vaccine was formulated that would bring the second pandemic to an end. The whole story is faithfully recorded here, in Greed's log. As the people came to learn of the terrible crimes committed by the church, its authority began to crumble. In desperate hope of regaining the faith of the people, the church issued a proclamation. It would attempt the grand ritual. It was this, more than anything, that spurred Brave the Templar to action. These events, too, are recorded in your father's log.
Okay, we'll be sure to look at them.
Have you the courage to press on in search of the truth? Then you know where to find us.
Okay, let's go ahead and read the log. And most of this we know from the story so far. This is just more detail about it. April 11th. It has been 1 month since our handful of ships brought the church the means for its triumphant return from the slow decline consuming it. Our expedition's members were granted tracts of land, ancient titles, such rich rewards for the scant wealth we bore home. It would appear that the church is even more impoverished than I had imagined, if this is how they dance for such a pittance. In a lonely village in Eternia's east, there have been reports of the plague that is spreading now across the world. The Office of Public Health has declared a global pandemic, naming it the Great Plague, and they call the strain I brought forth from the shrine the Origin Plague. Rumors say that the young Bishop Brave wished to use the Earth Crystal to cure this pestilence. It was an unheard of idea, never dreamed of by those old men who worship the crystal blindly, and will see it turn to no other purpose. Thus the proposal was ignored. Instead, the church handed down its cruelest order yet. All of Eternia's high roads were to be blockaded. To protect the head church in the capital of Eternia, the rural villages were to be cut off from the rest of the country and abandoned to their fate, sacrificed to save the many, just as the girl was. A woman came to my door not too long ago, bearing in tow a small boy that she claimed was mine own. I cannot claim that I ever knew the woman. It may well be true, so I have given the boy a home. The manor is now filled with life and noise and children's cries, but my spirits remain as low and dark as death itself. Okay, so that was Denny, because I mentioned that he was a half-brother, so it's more like this woman was like, yeah, we met a long time ago, this kid is yours, and he just didn't want to argue with her, I guess. The young Bishop Brave has left the church. We are being punished by the crystal. That baseless rumor has spread without stop. No, it is more than that. That whisper is all one hears, terrified faces all one sees, and the longer that such whispers persist, the weaker the orthodoxy grows. With Brave's departure, something seems to have been set in motion. The experts in infectious disease, including that Norzen, have been gaining much power amidst this panic. The Office of Public Health now acts independently of both the nobles and the church, carving out for itself a position where external pressures can no longer contain it. No doubt Brave was angry and disappointed with the church establishment. Their dismissal of him and his ideas might seem reason enough for these rash behaviors. But to those with the eyes to see, it is clear that his reasons run much deeper. What insult could drive Brave to such reckless ambition? It has already been a year since Denny's mother left us, and now I found myself with a potential fiancé who comes recommended to me by a certain influential figure. Our family ties are respectable, though it is hard for any house to rival mine own. We are the direct descendants of the very first pope of crystalism. I fear she may be unhappy and ill at ease moving in the circles which House Genealogia must. June 1st. Brave, the blasphemous usurper. He has seized his opportunity, striking out at the orthodoxy and cutting down the Vestal of Earth to name himself Grand Marshal of the new Eternian Duchy, as he would have it be known. Carrying out the grand ritual would be a grave error. There were many, including myself, who realized that. But this? It hardly seemed possible that a man could do anything more than attempting to secure his own family and fortune across the seas amidst the panic that had been seizing our nations, keeping them away from such madness as is seen daily now. It was unimaginable that one would be able to rally his allies and form an army, launching an assault on the church itself and occupying it with no more than 3 airships to his own side. The Grand Marshal is surely finding himself a busy man, subduing rebellions as soon as they erupt, and they do erupt often, working hard to ensure stability for the common people, making efforts to master the Earth Crystal. The other day, his adjutant Kamizumi came to me and warned us in no certain terms that the Crystal Guard was not to fan any rebellious sentiments. And he is the one who cut down that offensive woman. Now both my mansion and my Crystal Guard have fallen under their control, and still I seem powerless to oppose them. Rather, it is probably in my own best interest to feign loyalty and allegiance to their cause. I have suggested that I might provide funding for the great public works they have planned, massive undertakings that will stretch from the Temple of the Earth to the city of Eternia. I received no thanks for my generous offer, only a request that the funds be transferred and where to. I am honestly astounded by their gall. Meanwhile, the seeds which Brave planted upon leaving Eternia have now borne fruit. His comrades in the Office of Public Health claim that the Great Plague has been defeated. If it is true, it could not have come at a better time. Rumors of a second pandemic have been spreading like wildfire. Norzen's research team have been fighting a battle against the fury of this plague and against time itself. Unable to secure specimens and carry out their studies with the benefit of time, the researchers ended up drawing lots amongst themselves. The losers made test subjects. Ooh. They bet their own lives on their work, and many lost the wager. Still, there has been no warning from the eye of the founder. I was granted an audience with Lord Leicester, who was appointed by Brave to his High Council, and had the opportunity to consult also with Sage Juliana. The Archduke greeted me as a descendant of that sickly man, while Juliana instead called my forefather a monster. I felt a cold sweat upon my back, faced with this reception. Is this the future I must look forward to? I suppose so, and we'll learn more about how you handled that. Okay, so let's move on. Floor 5. And the Cerberus entry is now complete. I just need the Mezzaline and the Guzzler, and then I can show off the Bestiary entries for this dungeon. Our ability to be able to change the encounter rate, which is an ability that we gained from having Tiz in our party. So basically saying that you can't use it to get around having to face the enemies in here, because it would make the trial too easy if you could just walk straight through. Okay, that was a fight with a couple of the Mezzaline and one of the Magnus bats. So what's in here? Remedy. I'll take that. Okay, so let's figure out what this truth is.
Must you always keep us waiting so? But no matter. The fourth truth awaits you. We shall tell you of the trials of the White Lion.
Trials of the White Lion, okay. Oh, the Crystal Guard.
The Templar Braves uprising took control of the capital of Eternia, and the Temple of Earth, seat of the Church's power. The Church, having lost its ability to govern, eyes now turn to its military might. The disbanding of the Crystal Guard. Curiously enough, this order came from within. Greed Geniolja, of one of the high houses of the Three Cavaliers. His motives were self-serving. Greed sought to protect his family and closest allies, at the expense of all others. Houses Geniolja and Camlin of the Disbander faction launched an attack on those who sought to keep the Crystal Guard intact. These opponents were led by two powerful houses that remained loyal to the order that Greed had begun to destroy. The two houses had in their service a swordsman, Jerome Balestra, whose skills were famed throughout the land.
Right.
Balestra fought
Jan's
back
father.
bravely against the warriors of houses Geniolja and Camlin. Almost single-handedly, he fended off waves of opponents, but in the end, he was just one man. Balestra's brave efforts were in vain. Gates were breached, castles and manors put to the torch. With his dying breaths, Balestra entrusted his boy Jan to the care of his loyal squire, a man by the name of Angard.
Oh, so that's why he had that.
At the same time, a young man named Nikolai, who had been tasked with leading one wing of the attack, gazed upon the hellish scene. Though he had only been following orders, he was haunted by guilt for what he had done. Though the once proud Crystal Guard was now but a name, Nikolai continued to serve, and serve proudly. He petitioned the church leaders for its revival, recruiting Jan and other comrades to his cause. Was it all to atone for that day? But that is a story for another time. Now, we return to the tale of the White Lion. The Geniolja and Camlin clans defeated their foes one by one, growing their power through bribes paid for with plundered gold. But disbanding the Crystal Guard had unforeseen and tragic consequences in the neighboring regions of Eternia. Unemployed soldiers turned to banditry, pillaging the villages that had survived the plague. Concerned that public order was breaking down, houses Geniolja and Camlin formed their own private armies to put down the bandits. Their armies grew mightier and mightier. Among those promoted through the ranks were men who claimed to have destroyed the home of the witch that had caused the Great Plague. How many villages were razed to the ground to restore the illusion of peace?
Right, that's what Bella was talking about.
One tragedy giving rise to the next. A never-ending spiral of death and destruction. And at the root of it, one man's ambition. Jan, Nikolai, Bella. So much pain, so much suffering. So much sacrificed for the glory and might of House Genealja.
This can't be true.
It is true. We've been learning about this whole time,
Stay strong, you. You had nothing to do with any of this.
But his family did.
But in the end, wealth and power could not buy immortality. The ambitious man, the foolish man, died of a common illness. So ends the story of Greed Genealja. Oh, how he entertained us so.
Thank you for the documents.
But you do not look so well. Mayhap the truth has taken its toll. Then I would advise you go no further. Farewell, my Minister of the Right. It has been so very delightful.
Well, we do have another floor to go through, but let's read Greed's log. August 9th. The Archduke is a paragon among men, who carries the blood of ancient kings within his veins, and thinks ever of what is best for his people. He commands a powerful army, maintains fair taxation, and rules with grace and skill. As long as he remains at its helm, the people welcome their nation's rebirth as a duchy and rejoice. There do not appear to be any who long for the days when the orthodoxy still ruled. The church's last source of income has been removed. We are now forbidden to collect the church taxes that once kept us going. The Crystal Orthodoxy must now survive on only the paltry stipend which the duchy grants us, and we are to be a religious body and no more, all political authority now stripped from us. Even House Genealja, the head of the Crystal Guard from times ancient, has not been exempt from this ruthless culling. The military strength of the Crystal Guard and the esteem once paid to the Genealja family are both sores in the eyes of the duchy and obstacles to any hope they might have for a peaceful reign. It is as plain to me as daylight, and now I see signs of disorder brewing even within the Crystal Guard itself. Among the 5 great families, loyalty to the church runs deep, and the 2 most known for their military prowess have objected with violence to the disarmament and demanded by the duchy. They do not know enough to fear this brave as I do. But more than the ardor that burns so violently among my peers, it is the silence of the Crystal Guard which haunts my thoughts at night. The Camelin family, one of our closest allies for many years, has proposed a covenant. There is no time left for hesitation. Everything has been arranged. They have all agreed. We will rise to action and bring them all down. We will abandon the house that wishes to wait and see how things progress before taking any decisive action. We need them not. They can be placated later or removed by force. What we must do now is gather more forces than our enemy. All hinges on the question of whether we can carry out our attack before our foes are able to finish their own preparations. A young knight named Nikolai, covered with minor wounds, brought word that the famous leader of the enemy troops, the great swordsman, Jerome Balestra, was dead in battle. It wasn't meant to happen like this. I wished to win in fair combat. His words reeked with such naive discontent, the foolish boy. The flames which engulfed Balestra lit the sky over the mountains, scorching the night with red light. My second son, born so many years after the first, cried the entire night, refusing to be soothed by anything. It was almost as though this innocent babe, yet ignorant of the world, was crying for the sins of a man like myself, who had cast a former friend down without remorse. The fortunes of the 2 fallen houses will be seized and war reparations paid out. Then there are negotiations with the duchy, renunciations of our arms. There are so many things I must yet attend to. It seems I am not to sleep this night, nor many nights to come. December 16th. The Crystal Guard has abandoned the arms which were once its sole purpose for being. The 3 Cavaliers and every last knight in the Crystal Guard now possess no more than pretty titles. The people mock us, pointing to the arms that still decorate our surcoats. They ask whether the White Lion still has claws. 4 months have passed already since the trials of the White Lion, and the Duchy sends us unimaginable news. They say that House Genealogia and House Camlin, as families of influence and power, should take to the hills and weed out any enemies. They even grant us permission to raise private armies for this purpose. The many soldiers who lost their livings when the Crystal Guard's numbers were reduced to the current Spartan figures, and especially the many who came from the 2 great houses, have been taking up brigandry and mercenary work, preying on the ruined villages of the borders which fell to the Great Plague. It seems even the powerful and famed Eternian forces have had difficulty subjugating these bandits, who have far greater numbers, and so private armies have been sanctioned to deal with this scourge. Even if it is true that we once faced one another across the battle lines, these foes we are to destroy were long members of the same Crystal Guard. Men who the Orthodoxy still owes for their loyalty, men who feel slighted by the Duchy, men who know no trade or skill by which to make a living but the arts of war. Even the heroes who claimed to have been there when the witch's village was burned, all have rushed to take up the title of brigand, thief, villain. We took some 10,000 good men. The warriors of House Genealogia have always made up half of the Crystal Guard, even in ancient times, so the number was not difficult to muster. House Camlin split the task with us, and we made a circuit of the borderlands. And everywhere we went, the bandits disappeared, and everywhere the bandits disappeared, our own numbers swelled. The events at the Eternal Vortex, the blockading of Eternia's roads and sacrifice of the villages, the trial of the White Lion. Truly, every time that I betray my fellows, my own fortune seemed to grow the better for it. What great epitaph will grace my grave one day, I wonder? Will I be remembered as one of the greatest heads that the Genealogia family has known? February 18th. The pain in my back becomes intolerable, and more days than not I find that my coughing fits have brought up blood. Sleep escapes me, and my wits wander more and more often. Even the bright voices of the children pain my ears and strain my temper. My elder boy, Denny, is blessed with many gifts, and he is a courageous boy. No man could be disappointed with him. The younger boy, though, you can claim an impeccable bloodline, though his wisdom is yet an unknown. To whom do I bequeath all I have? Is it skill or blood which matters? If only I had that sword, the sword that can cut through anything, even doubt. I cannot die yet, not until I fulfill the promise. Not yet. Oh, well, I'm guessing you did die before you fulfilled that promise. But in the end, he chose you. So let me go grab that. A turbo ether. Okay. Okay, so where's the last treasure? Ah, I see it. It's right there. Oh, this is... Oh, wow. Okay, I did not see that. Bloodblade. That's a new weapon. Let's go ahead and read about it. Bloodblade, a slender magic sword into which a legendary master blacksmith forged the black magic drain by request of a certain patron. Upon seeing the blade, the patron is said to have gladly purchased it, leaving with the cryptic words, "This is positively vampiric." Okay. Interesting. Those are the stats, no special immunities, and that's what it looks like. I don't think anybody has a job class that can equip that right now, but I might as well check. Yeah. I don't know why I bothered to check that.
Wait, I remember this blade.
Yeah.
The Sword of the Brave.
Here you
I
go.
expected you sooner. But you have come, despite our warning. You need not explain yourself. When the truth sings, who can resist its siren call? Let me tell you my story. I am a presence once known as a yokai. What does the word mean? Nothing to me. I am I, nothing more, nothing less. I belong to and am beholden to no man. I have but one desire, to change this world we live in. Only those who have achieved true growth can lift the world to a higher plane, the next layer. So has the tapestry of history been woven, and so it shall continue to be. True growth means accepting all within you, seeing through the lies you tell yourself, and becoming that which you were meant to be. In that sense, one could also say, the more that is sealed away within your heart, the greater and stronger you might still grow.
Were you laughing
But
at?
few have the courage to brave the dark depths within their heart and achieve their true potential. Many have tried, and most have met with fates worse than death. Oh, but there is one heart I've yet to peek within, isn't there?
There is.
Let us see what you are hiding from us, Idia.
Oh yeah, that's right. Alternus stopped her from touching Idia earlier.
My name is Idia Lee, daughter of the Grand Marshal of Eternia. For so long I was proud of myself, of my position, of my family. But 2.5 years ago, I turned my back on it all.
And why did you do this?
I just couldn't accept what the Duchy was doing.
Is that the whole reason? Or was it because you wanted to assert yourself, to claim your own identity?
Well, yeah, probably part of it.
No,
Were you seeking someone's approval? Tell me.
My father. I wanted his recognition.
Very good, Idia. Now let us go deeper. Loneliness. That is what you feel deep in your heart.
That's not true!
Of course it is. You do your best to hide it, of course. You smile and play your role. But Oddness has Tiz. Magnolia has you.
Oh, yeah.
Musser has Brave. Eleanor has Commander Goodman.
Yeah, we haven't really had a love interest or Idia. Well, I guess Alternus, right?
Amy and Panettone. Holly and Barris. You see their joy, and you feel loneliness, sadness, fear.
Stop it!
For you had someone too, but he left you far, far behind. You will never see him again, the one you cared for more than anyone else in this world. And what hurts most of all is that he chose to leave you. You told yourself you were strong, that you would be fine on your own. Alone forever, with no one to stand by you. Not now, not when you grow old, not when you die.
Jeez.
This is your truth, is it not, Idia?
I miss him. Ring a bell.
Ringo Bell? Who?
Idia!
Ring a bell?
In the flesh. I'm sorry, it isn't like me to keep a lady waiting.
Oh, he was the same class as Alternus, too.
Alone? Nonsense.
What is this music?
I've always been at your side, Idia. In Geyser Grotto. In Florum.
Oh, Ring a Bell is
Even in
Alternus?
Kaldisla. I never forgot you, not for a fleeting moment. Don't believe me? Here, have a look at my journal.
It's always about you, isn't it? I hate you!
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to tease. Now, shall we return together?
Ring a bell? It's you!
You were Ring-a-Bell? That Ring-a-Bell?
The one and only. But the merry reunion can wait. I believe we have a fox to catch.
Okay, interesting turn of events. Did I actually get his journal? No, I did not. Okay. Well, I still have more enemy work to do in here, but I guess that can wait. Never mind, apparently there's still more to go through. We're not quite at the end yet. Oh, well, just in case this is something that I should be healed up for, let me do that real quick, because I see a marker coming up here. White magic, right. There we go. Actually, we'll see what this marker is about in the next episode. If you guys enjoyed this one, give this video a like. Also, be sure to like my Facebook page and follow me on Twitter, as well as support my Patreon and check out my reaction channel. All those links will be in the description below. And subscribe for more. And if you are subscribed or a new subscriber right now, be sure to hit that bell icon so you get notified when I upload videos. This is Viola Rules, signing off. Talk to you later.